The year is 2023, and we have a new Saw movie coming out, Saw X. So they made it to 10. They've done 10 Saw movies in the past, well, close to 20 years now, which is pretty incredible. And of course, we all remember when Saw reigned supreme during Halloween time at the box office. Pretty much like every year, every other year, you could expect Halloween time a new Saw movie to come out. Those were fun times. So I thought I'd revisit at least some of the Saw movies, or at least some, some that I haven't reviewed before. I haven't reviewed this one, the fourth one, Saw 4, which was kind of right at the height of the popularity. This came out 2007. And for me, I mean, it definitely kind of signaled the turning of the franchise into not the best territory, in my opinion. Maybe some people will disagree with that, but I mean, definitely the first three are very solid, and you have Tobin Bell as Jigsaw the killer. Then, of course, they kill him in the third film. In case you had any doubt, this film opens with his autopsy in a very gruesome and disgusting, over the top autopsy scene, which is pretty gnarly and cool and stuff like that. And then it kind of veers into the game continuing and all that kind of stupid stuff, where we have the cop character, the kind of sleazy cop character. He's kind of trailing down Jigsaw's apprentices, even though, spoiler alert, he is one. He is one of the apprentices. He's the main bad guy in the movie, I guess. And Riggs, who is a SWAT member from the previous film, he's trying to not so much track down the bad guys, but he's trying to save the good guys, his friends who have been captured and put in traps and stuff. So he's been kind of elevated to kind of like a lead role. And within all that, there's also kind of a, like a prequel element to it, where, I mean, I don't even know if you can really say that, because the thing about the Saw movies is they go backwards and forwards and looping all around in the timeline, where it is this, giant convoluted jigsaw of a plot where, the Jigsaw character, Tobin Bell, he just has this incredibly precise, omnipotent plan that, it's just so perfect that nothing can ever, stop it, or, it works perfectly every time. But it's, it's a movie, right? So you're not going to like see a scene where it's like, oh, he didn't find the tape recorder, I guess that's it, it's the end of the line. No, it plays out in a specific way. But it has kind of the prequel element to it, where we first see John Kramer, is Jigsaw's real name, him living his life with his wife and seemingly, having happy times. Things going awry a little bit when this drug addict, whose wife is only trying to help at the clinic, causes the death of his unborn child. And I guess that kind of makes him snap a little bit, but not in a vengeance kind of way, but in a way where he wants to turn this character's life around and make him really, treasure life. Or, Jigsaw's whole thing is like doing these terrible things to make people really appreciate life, which is kind of bullshit, and we all know it. He's just torturing people because he's fucking psycho, but it's still cool because, that's what we look for in a horror movie. Torture porn, right? They always kind of call these torture porn movies, which, I don't know, maybe it's unfair, maybe not, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can look at the plot, you can look at the characters, and how, the twists and turns bring everything together. Really, you just kind of measure these movies by the traps, by the kills. And this one, it didn't have the best ones to me. Like, it had some decent ones, like in the mausoleum, one guy has his eyes sewed shut, the other guy has his mouth sewed shut. The creepy pervert hotel owner getting his eyes gouged out and his limbs ripped off. And of course, Donnie Wahlberg, who's brought back since the second film. You know, he's kind of the lead cop guy in Saw 2. He's back, just on a melting ice cube and just waiting for the clock to tick and all that. And spoiler alert, he gets his head crushed by two giant blocks of ice, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, it's okay. But, I mean, there have been better, more creative traps in the Saw franchise, I guess. Um, but, you know, it is this problematic thing with the Saw series, like how they did kind of kill off this great villain, and even like Amanda too. Or maybe she showed up again and turned out to be alive. I don't remember, but they kind of killed off their primary character, only to keep going back and back and back anyway. Where, I mean, they may as well admit it was a mistake. Even this new one, Saw X, coming out, it's supposedly taking place between uh, Saw 1 and Saw 2, or Saw 2 and Saw 3, I can't remember which, but taking place between movies. So, I mean, they had to compensate for that and make it seem like it's all part of this big plan with the apprentices and all this stuff, where it's just like, damn, they had a good formula and they just kind of botched it a little bit, which is unfortunate. And this was kind of like the first one where it's like, what are they doing with this? Are they really kind of going in this direction? I don't know how invested I am. But you know, that's just me. I mean, I definitely, you know, try to watch them uh, from time to time. Uh, I mean, there are certain people here, like huge sawheads, hugely into this series. They marathon the movies all the time. They know every twist and turn. They know all the kind of big plans and stuff like that. For me, sometimes when I like go back to them, I'm like, wait, who is this guy? How does this connect? You know what I mean? Especially like if it is like, you know, just the average person going to these movies, like, you know, once every year or so. They're like, oh, one of those Saw movies, that'll be scary. What the fuck is happening? This was like the most what the fuck is happening of all the Saws, in my opinion, where it is a little bit harder to follow, harder to feel invested in for whatever reason, and with the traps not being as elaborate or showy or just generally as interesting as they have been in some of the other movies. It just makes it hard of a movie to get behind. So this is one of my lesser liked Saw movies. Still a decent watch, I guess. I mean, the thing is, like, no matter how much you may like or dislike a Saw movie, you're gonna have to watch them all to kind of get the plot anyway. So that's something to consider. So I'm sure, you know, this is tolerable within a Saw marathon. So hopefully I'll be checking out some of the other ones and reviewing them. But that's my review of Saw 4, the fourth film in the Saw franchise. So thank you very much for watching. We're doing 31 Days of Horror here on the channel. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you later, and stay scared.